Joe Flacco versus Houston again. Amari Cooper, he wants to set that record again.
Absolutely.
We have it set in stone. We're facing Houston Texans. Again, short time since we saw him last. C.J. Stroud's back healthy again. What a matchup.
What a matchup. Jacksonville falls to the Titans. Derrick Henry has a good set-off. Really sets up a nice playoff picture for us. We did pretty well last time versus the Texans.
We did really darn well.
You know, again, the only thing that's going to change is C.J. Stroud being there behind that center.
Yeah.
Slinging the ball, and with the way our cornerbacks are playing, all of our starting cornerbacks are top 3 in the league for lockdown percentage. So
and we're a lot healthier.
We're a lot healthier now.
So watch out, Houston. Because the Cleveland Browns aren't done.
No, we're not done.
Joe Flacco's not done this year.
You think we just paid Flacco to sit down and do nothing this week? No, he's studying that film.
We gave that man his $75,000 bonus to pay for his kid's college in the future for a reason. Joe Flacco doesn't want to be done. He wants to finish the storybook ending of this season.
He wants the wedding ring and the Super Bowl ring. The matching Super Bowl ring to go with it.
My goodness,
what what? I think that's going to be a real player. He's tied with Tom Brady for the most road playoff wins at 7. I think the next best record is 4. I mean, he's a man who knows how to win on the road. I think that's going to be huge for Cleveland, that he can keep his composure and knows the right way to attack opposing defenses.
Oh, yeah. No, he wants that record. He wants 8 road wins. And another thing that I'm going to say here, I think the argumentative point here is who wins head coach of the year. It comes down to next week.
And you know what?
You got the Cleveland Browns, Kevin Stefanski versus DeMarco Ryans.
Absolutely.
Who do you want to win it? That's the deciding matchup.
Is it really coming down to DeMarco Ryans? Or you know what? There's still a Dan Campbell. There's still a Dan Campbell. I don't know who he's facing next week in the playoffs, but if he faces someone big and gets the win, it's going to be huge.
According to the odds book, though, Dan Campbell's no longer in the top 3.
Really? That's shocking.
It was Shane Steichen, DeMarco Ryan, and
Shane Steichen.
Yeah.
Who's Shane Steichen?
Head coach of the Colts. What are you talking about?
I forgot.
So the question mark is here. Obviously, I heard on the broadcast today, Shane's out.
Shane is out.
You win that game, and you're in the playoffs. Different story. You're in.
Absolutely different story.
So who do you go with? Do you go with the guy, first-year head coach, first-year rookie QB? You take him from a franchise that was doing terribly into a playoff team, or do you take the Cleveland Browns, who lose 26% of their starting roster or cap space to injury? You lose QBs. You're the first NFL team to have 5 starting QBs in a season to go to the playoffs.
Yep.
You get the number 1 defense in the league. And you have a guy that comes off the couch to lead you to 11-5 record.
It's looking like a pretty open and closed case right now for us. I mean, it's either Stefanski or bust. It's Stefanski or the NFL's rigged.
Yeah, Stefanski to me is the. But I think honestly, whoever wins this game, that's a deciding factor.
Absolutely,
I'll put money on it right now. Stefanski wins, he's winning it.
Yep.
But if Texans win, which I don't want to see, Ryans is probably going to win it.
Yep.
So that's where we're at with that.
Yep. Rico, could you pull up a playoff picture for the clinched AFC?
Yeah, that's.
So we don't know the seeding yet on it. So there's no set.
Not until the Bills and the. Bills clinched it today too. Also kind of shocked without having to even play their game. But that's going to be, if they get it, it's either going to be Bills Steelers or Miami Steelers, and honestly, I hope Miami wins today so we can see Miami Steelers, because I want to see Josh Allen versus Patty Mahomes again.
Yeah, that would be a great.
That would be a great one.
I would love to see it.
It's pretty hard to say that Josh Allen wouldn't take that.
Personally, they're hot right now.
They're very hot, but you know what? If Miami faces Kansas City, there's a good chance Kansas City takes that.
Yeah,
there's a good chance.
Kansas City comes out of nowhere. We all know that.
Absolutely.
But let's get into what arguably is a huge matchup for us. I mean, we talked about it briefly. Joe Flacco's going to have a game.
Absolutely.
And I think he's going to have a game. That secondary of theirs is nothing special. Joe Flacco already proved that. Amari Cooper's going to be healthy.
Yep.
We don't know about Elijah Moore yet.
I was about to say Elijah Moore. I don't think he's going to be there.
But hopefully he is. David Njoku's ready. We had lots of rest. These guys want to be out there.
They want to be out there. And I'm going to throw this in too. Pretty big shocker that Dalvin Cook decided to go to the Ravens and not someone more like The Browns?
I would have loved to see him on the Browns. I think it would have been a great addition to this team. He has, just the connection of the fact he's an experienced running back, which we don't have really. I mean, we have
Hunt, but Hunt's not as quick anymore as Dalvin Cook
Exactly. And we saw it today. We had Pierre Strong out there. They threw Ford in there because Strong got hurt. And I'm not going anything against Ford. Just, we don't have the run game like we should. I know our offensive line's not there, but that's our weak side.
It is.
The run game is where we're not
That's
performing.
usually our bread and butter, and right now it's
So Dalvin Cook, to me, would have been a great addition, even if it's just to have him on. But, we don't.
We don't.
One thing we can say of Jeff Driscoll will probably not be on this team anymore.
I've never heard of this man in my life.
He'll be on it for the postseason as depth, but obviously he's not a guy that we kept for a long term. He was just here to take a start.
Yeah, I think he was our practice squad backup QB.
So, to the Browns, I mean, we come off this game. Obviously, nothing really mattered. You had the guys on the sidelines dressed but having fun. Mm-hmm. We only had 2 of our starters on defense. It showed. We all knew this. It was pretty much a bye week.
Yeah, cut and dry case. No one's really upset that the Browns lost this one. I mean, to be fair, I think we should all be pretty happy that we scored 14 points. Bell got 2 touchdowns today.
Bell had 2 touchdowns.
And you know what? I wasn't expecting you to score at all.
No, not at all. Halftime.
But Horquist was back, and he was a monster today.
2 inside the 20, I do believe.
Absolutely.
So, great game to see him back. Hopefully, D-Hop's back next week. Even Stefanski said this week is insane how important it was to get our team back up to full shape.
Absolutely.
Myles Garrett needed it. Denzel Ward needed it. Our cornerbacks all needed it.
Yep.
We did lose Anthony Walker onto IR. The only way he could come back is if we make the Super Bowl.
Yep. And you know what? Man, it's going to be tough not having Anthony Walker because he's one of those key pieces that you don't really think is that important until he's gone, and you realize, man, he was an anchor on the defense.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, I do want to say, I think there's another case that was made in this game.
What's that?
The talk is all there. We know TJ had his 2 sacks and helped the Steelers clinch their spot. Mm-hmm. But Myles Garrett's worth showed more in this game than any other game. That defense looked so
absolutely trash. And you know what? It's funny. TJ Watt, he did have 2 sacks.
He did. He leads the league. He's going to lead it.
If there was Myles Garrett. Now, I know what you're all thinking. Oh, it's a Browns fan, polishing off Myles Garrett to make him sound great. But honestly, 2 sacks against the backups for the Ravens, that's not crazy. Those are really the only stats that he has against
unfortunately,
them.
he got injured.
He wasn't game-changing at all. Yeah, but he was injured at a point in the game where it didn't matter anymore.
To me, I think Myles Garrett is more the well-rounded. Yeah, he makes the impact every week.
I was about to say, he is an absolute game changer where when you have him, you know it. You know he's out on the field.
He's taking the offensive line and drawing 2 of the you have to cover him.
Yeah, you have to cover him.
And you still got to hold him just to cover him.
Absolutely.
Even with 2 guys on the field. So Myles Garrett, to me, is still going to probably, again, I think it depends on who makes the deeper run here.
Yep, and you know what? We've been hearing it all week. He's the best player on the best defense in the league, and that says a lot about him.
Yeah.
That says a lot about him.
That's a big thing that goes into winning awards. We all know that. Your record matters. The Steelers, luckily, I think if the Steelers would have lost that game, I don't think TJ Watt would have been mentioned as much.
Oh, no, not at all.
That's the top 2, and then you got Micah Parsons, who's still in the top 3 for that running. Myles Garrett was favored before the Ravens game. I don't know how the 2 sacks affected that, but I'm still on to Myles Garrett. I think he's a game changer, even though the sacks aren't leading. I think what he's done and the big plays he's made at the right time is the reason he deserves it.
Absolutely.
To go to that defense, Jim Schwartz wanted to still put up a defensive performance today, but unfortunately, it didn't happen.
With so many starters out, I mean, we signed somebody from somebody else's practice squad, I think, 2 days ago.
Yep.
And he was starting for us at DN today.
I mean, it's a matter of we were doing the backups.
Yeah.
So this game is just a scratch game.
Yep.
But you look at the Texans. We had the scenario of Texans versus Browns, Jaguars versus Browns, and last week we had, or before the Houston Texans won, we had the Colts possibly.
Yep.
all teams that we lost against Jacksonville, correct?
No, we won against
Jacksonville. Won. Yeah, my bad.
So, I don't think we've lost to the AFC South this year.
At all of it, I think Jacksonville would have been the ideal matchup.
Yep, you know what? They would have. They're not as explosive this year.
They're just falling apart.
Yeah, you know
1-5 to finish the season.
It's starting to get to the point, where Trevor Lawrence needs to be looked at with, is he as good as, does he deserve a contract?
He's not a game-changing QB that they thought he'd be.
No, not at all.
But you look at C.J. Stroud, who is scary.
Very scary.
Because he was making throws out there today that most QBs who have been in the league for 5, 6 seasons, 7 seasons can't make.
Couldn't or wouldn't.
That Nico Collins throw
is
off his back foot.
It's crazy. It's crazy how much of a wide receiver one he is for that team.
It's nuts. And if they had Tank Dell, I think this would be even closer.
Absolutely.
But the biggest thing to me, the point that I think we're going to have to set in that game early, Devin Singletary has to be stopped.
He has to be stopped, and Jerome Ford and Kareem Hunt need to make their presence known around the outside just for those hard yards.
Force them to pass the ball into some of the best cornerbacks in the league.
Absolutely.
Into the best defense in the league.
Absolutely, because again, no matter how good Nico Collins is, I mean, they faced the Colts secondary yesterday. The Colts, if that was the Browns, Nico Collins wouldn't have gotten a 75-yard touchdown off the first play of the game for the Colts.
No, not at all.
For the Texans.
I mean, if you eliminate Nico Collins out of the equation, you got Dalton Schultz and Brown, in Mechie, but they don't have that true number 2 anymore because Tank Dell's out. Mm-hmm. And Tank Dell arguably was almost number 1 over Nico for a while.
He was crazy. He was going absolutely nuts. He was doing better than Puka Nacua was.
It's absolutely crazy, and I think next week's going to be such a crazy good game.
Absolutely.
I cannot wait for it.
It's going to be electric playoff football.
It's a great matchup, and the NFL should be privileged to get to show that game on live TV.
Super excited to see what day it's on, Saturday or Sunday.
I'm hoping Sunday. I love Sunday football.
I love a Sunday night football game.
But because we're 4 and 5 seed, I'm assuming we're probably going to be Saturday, but I think that storyline could push it into Sunday.
I think so too.
I think it's a storyline right there.
Because you know what? It's what is it? Unstoppable force versus an immovable object. Rookie team versus a chosen roster.
Yeah, I mean, let's see what happens.
I'm super excited to see what we're able to pull off.
Give us another one, man.
Joe, get us that playoff win. Cement yourself in the record books forever. You know what? Even though he probably heard this a million times, this might be his last time to get a playoff win. And to be able to get a playoff win here, make NFL history.
What a way to go.
What a way to go.
But a better way to go
would be winning it all.
Winning it all.
It all.
I don't know if you all have seen, but before we went into this week, the Cleveland Browns were the most bet on Super Bowl winning team.
Absolutely.
We have come alive in the betting, people.
People aren't sleeping on the Browns anymore.
They're jumping on that bandwagon.
About time.
They don't want to flack around and find out.
No, they
don't. They
don't.
want to be along for the ride.
Absolutely.
The Browns want to give that storybook ending to Joe Flacco.
Absolutely. You know, when you win 5 games almost in a row, you got to say, oh my gosh, these guys are cooking. Now, you got to give it to them.
Here's the question I ask. Joe Flacco wasn't always talked about for being in a Hall of Fame.
No, not at all.
Not at all. Now, the question is, coming out of what was a semi-retirement almost for him, putting up the game and the numbers, leading the league like he had, turning a team into the most bet on Super Bowl team.
Yep.
If you win a game or two here, do we start talking about maybe Joe deserves a little more Hall of Fame talk than what he was before?
Let me ask you a question. Do you think Drew Brees is a Hall of Fame QB?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah? Well, the passing yards might not be there, but they have the same amount of Super Bowls.
I mean,
I think they have the same amount of Super Bowl MVPs.
If Joe Flacco wins the Super Bowl for the Browns, there's no doubt in my mind.
There's
He's
no
a
doubt.
Hall of Fame.
Ever.
Because that's going to put him at like 10
Eli
road
Manning
games.
level.
Double-digit playoff road win games. Put him in there.
Put him in there. He deserves it. Clutch Joe Flacco.
Clutch Joe, dude.
Oh, my God. Call his number anytime.
Man, I can't wait.
I can't wait. It's going to be so exciting.
I am pumped up.
Northeast Ohio cannot wait.
My bank account can't wait for these bets that I'm about to place next week.
The bets are going to be spicy.
But we're Cleveland Brown playoff game coming on this weekend, and we cannot wait.
Cannot wait.
I mean, what an electric time to be a Browns fan. Arguably, I think this is by far one of the best seasons the Cleveland Browns has ever put on the turf or field, whatever you're playing on right now. It don't matter.
No, it doesn't.
The Cleveland Browns aren't going anywhere.
Not at all.
We got that dog in us, and we want to fight. We want to prove everyone wrong.
We going to keep going.
You can go through 4 or 5 different quarterbacks, and the Cleveland Browns said, we don't care.
0-16 6 years ago, do not care. 2 playoff appearances, 1 clinch spot, going for the Texans. You got to love the Cleveland Browns.
I tell you right now, if I had money, I'm buying the movie rights if the Browns win a Super Bowl this year. I'm buying those movie rights. Draft day, you had one turn at it.
Yeah, no.
Just wait till you see the movie about the Browns going to the Super Bowl of Joe Flacco.
There's just something about that Joe Flacco where if he takes us to the Super Bowl, we're getting a Rocky statue of him.
I mean, who's playing who in that movie, though?
Oh, man.
Like, that's the question. We'll have to come back to that.
Oh, man, probably like Brad Pitt.
Ooh,
Ryan Gosling,
Ryan
Reynolds.
Gosling is Joe Flacco. I could see it.
Absolutely.
Or Ryan Reynolds, honestly, too.
Or, what is it? Josh Brolin?
Yeah.
Guy who played Thanos.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it, Browns. Give us what we want. Let us keep rooting for the rest of this playoffs. And we're asking for you, Joe. Break the record and smash it. Smash the road playoff win record. Cement yourself in legacy and take the Cleveland Browns to where we want to go. We're the most deserving fan base for it. And what a storyline.
Cleveland will burn if we get a Super Bowl.
If there's a Super Bowl, Cleveland won't recover for weeks. It'd be a natural disaster.
You'd have to call in FEMA to help us. And you know what? We'll reject them for the first few days, but after that, we'll be good.
I'm just saying, in Las Vegas, there may be an earthquake if the Browns win.
Absolutely.
There will be a registered earthquake of the dogs barking out there.
Oh, it's going to be so bad for the... California will fall into the ocean if the Browns win a Super Bowl. We will cause
I've never been to Vegas, but I sure might go if certain scenarios come alive.
I would love to see that
I might have to redeem my frequent flyer miles for a trip to Las Vegas.
Absolutely.
You won't hear from me for a week after that.
No.
I will either be financially broke or I will be the luckiest man alive for a week.
Every Browns fan in the world will be going feral for exactly 2 weeks after the Browns Super Bowl win. And you just have to look the other way.
And you'll never live it down because anyone that ever says anything, we don't care.
We don't care.
So till next week.
Go Dog
Dogs.
Pounds. Go Dog Pound, baby.